Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we have a really interesting review that's also a topical conversation. So we're going to kind of make it about both. Today we're going to look at some Laura Mercier products, including the brand new Ultra Blur Translucent Loose Setting Powder, a staple for any Laura Mercier fan, but this is the talc-free version. It's going to spark, hopefully, a whole conversation in the comment section, but I'll tell you why in a moment. But I also, since we're talking about new Laura Mercier stuff, I also wanted to give a little mention and a little try on to the Laura Mercier Petal Soft Lip Crayons. So let's talk about those first, and then we can get into the deeper part of this. These are super pretty little fun things, and we will try them on in the demo. The Petal Soft Lip Crayons are a fun little thing to use as either a liner or a lipstick or both. They travel really easily. They roll up and are always in a nice little point, and they do roll back down as well, which is a nice thing. These come in 10 shades, and I picked up the shade Ella, which I'll show you in a moment, and Ophelie. They're $28 each. They promise 12-hour wear. They don't last 12 hours, but they say that they're going to do 24-hour nourishing of the lips, softening of the lips. Yeah, I mean, they are super, super comfy. Just to kind of show you what they look like. Here is the Ella shade, which I think is super pretty. It's just a really nice neutral. I'm kind of wearing that, and I have right now layered on top of it, which doesn't really go with my look, but you know, the Ophelie shade right there. A little bit of a brighter pink, not really going with my look here, but we're just kind of rolling up our sleeves and getting into the makeup here. All right, let's get to the topic at hand. These are pretty, and I will try them on for you, and we will talk about how they wear, so don't worry about that. A really pretty buy, though. I really like them. Okay, now let's talk about Laura Mercier powder. Here's another Laura Mercier powder that I have sitting around, the Celestial Light. Laura Mercier, I have so many of her different powders around here. Not only, of course, is she the artist famous for her tinted moisturizer. She's extremely relied upon for her powder. She's also a leader, really, in loose setting powder especially. So when she redid her original formula of the translucent loose setting powder, talc-free, it's kind of interesting. All right, so lots of stuff to cover here. When they first sent it to me, I looked at the box. Here's the box it came in, and I couldn't find talc-free anywhere, and I thought, oh no, they sent me the older version. And then I looked at the ingredients, of course, on the back, and this is the talc-free version. They're not labeling it talc-free, so that would say to me, just using my head, that it will begin. I think you can still get the original that has talc in it, but I think this will begin to replace it. And interestingly enough, the talc-free version is $44, whereas I see on the Sephora website, if you purchase the original version that still has talc, it's $40. So I don't know if it's just the price increase that we're seeing kind of across the board, and they're phasing out the other, so it's for $40, take it, and then it goes, and then all the powders are $44, or if the talc-free version is just $44 and the other is $40. I think it's what I first said, the former, that they're going to just kind of, it'll be $44, and it will, the fact that it doesn't say talc-free, I think it's just kind of the new kid on the block. Lots to say about that as well. First, though, we're gonna try it out. We're gonna do a wear test. This comes in 3 shades. I got the shade called translucent. All 3 shades are translucent, but I got the shade called translucent, which is for light to light medium skins. But there's also honey shade and medium deep shade as the skin tones progress to deeper. So 3 shades total, $44 each. It includes hyaluronic acid, 16-hour wear, blurring, all the things that we think of now when we think of a loose setting powder and when we think of Laura Mercier setting powder. And we're going to try it out. We're going to do a wear test, but let's talk about that topical conversation I told you was coming. And we started talking about this a little bit in an eyeshadow video previously. So this is going to be kind of a follow-up or the main. That was maybe a precursor, an hors d'oeuvre for this conversation. So on HBO, there was a show, and I've referenced it before, called, I think it was Pretty Ugly. Was it called that? Yeah. And it talked about asbestos and powders and all sorts of horrid things that were in, one lady looked at something her daughter had picked up from Claire's. You know, that's kind of in the United States. If you don't live in the US, it's kind of a preteen type inexpensive store that sells tchotchkes, you know, little sparkly things for your hair and makeup and stuff. And they found, you know, all these horrible things in the powdered makeup. It's a scary show. I don't really recommend it for the faint of heart. And frankly, I stopped watching at a certain point because I was like, enough, I'm just freaking myself out. And a large thing that's taken some of the blame, I don't know if in just that show because I did stop watching, but just in the greater social conversation, is talc. And we started talking about this. Some of you guys are so smart. I love my community. And so many of us were talking in the comments in the previous video about talc. Is it dangerous? Is it not dangerous? Does it depend on the talc? You know, is it the working conditions of those who are working with the talc? Is it what's in certain talcs? Is it, you know, is talc in and of itself bad for you? Well, it looks like Laura Mercier just decided, I don't know, but you guys are upset about it, so we're taking it out. Fair enough. You know, had there been problems with the talc that was previously found in Laura Mercier powders? I don't believe so. I certainly haven't heard that anywhere. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the company just thought, you know, we're famous for our powders, and this is right now something that's upsetting to people. And that's the question. I mean, does it cause breathing problems? Does it? I mean, if you've had problems from talc, certainly go below. This becomes it becomes kind of the panic of the moment, and certain areas rightfully so, and certain areas maybe a little bit Chicken Little. But where does that go? I kind of don't blame Laura Mercier, but I had to laugh, you guys, because I looked on the website and on the back of my box, and it is true, talc is out. It used to be the first ingredient, but you know what it's been replaced with? Mica. And you're sitting at home, maybe if you're not an ingredient person, going, and Rebecca? Well, mica gets just as much flack as talc. There's a lot of people who hate mica and say that if you inhale mica, that it's really bad for your lungs, etc., etc. And in fact, it does say here, do not inhale. I don't know why you'd be like, on the powder, but I kind of laughed. I'm like, okay, so we take out talc because that's like a political no-no right now. I don't mean actual politics, but you know, it's like it's a buzzword. It's a bad buzzword now. But then you replace it with mica, which, you know, has had its time in the sun of people screaming about how mica is awful. So I don't know if we're replacing one bad thing with another. I don't know if Laura Mercier is just trying to avoid people screaming at them for having talc, or if they're just, you guys need to weigh in. Look, I don't want to start a huge argument. And by the way, let me go on record as I'm not saying this is all ridiculous. I mean, obviously, and you can watch the HBO special, there are some valid, scary claims here, okay? So there's no part of me that's laughing at this. I know I'm keeping it light, but I'm not poking fun. I mean, there are some real honest to goodness medical cases here. Not from Laura Mercier product. Please do not misunderstand me. I've not heard anything like that. But, you know, talc has had the finger pointed at it, but so has mica. So I'm just really interested in what you guys think and what your thoughts are on this. But what I really want to do is for those of you that the original Laura Mercier was is your holy grail, and it looks like it's going to be phased out for this little baby here. So I just want to try it and see if it kind of performs in the same manner. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to demo it now and then wait a few hours and see if I feel that it generally performs the same, because if this is your holy grail, there's been no issues, of course, reported with Laura Mercier, but if this is your holy grail, it looks like they've done a switcheroo on you, so let's see if you'll still like it. All right, I have done just the complexion portion of my look today, so that would be the new Hourglass in 7.5. Hourglass is actually growing on me a little bit. I still have 2 shades I'm playing with, but I'm kind of liking it a little bit more. And I also continue to play with the brand new Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal, Ethereal Light Concealer. Funny how these things work. When I tried it on in the video where we tested it out, I couldn't quite tell if it was settling under my eyes, and I said it really needed a little bit of powder. So how appropriate that is what we're going to do right now. Then I'm going to let this sit for a while. I'm going to finish the look and let it sit for a while, and we're going to come back after a few hours and see what we think. So let's start. I have 2 brushes here. I have a rougher number 25 that I'm going to powder just kind of my whole face and set the whole face with. And then I brought over this beautiful Sonia G brush, and we're going to just get under the eyes a little bit too. And that will also test out what I was talking about with the Too Faced. All right, I flipped it over there because I don't want to get too much. I'm just kind of going to use here what is on Let's do under the eyes first, what is on the cap here. This is a perfect brush for it. See it poof into the air a little bit. And I am just gonna go, I just kind of get the whole eye. I definitely get under the eye, but while I'm at it, I just kind of get the whole eye. It's just sweeping and less. Okay, very, very nice. We'll have to see how this lasts through the day. And then of course our big brush, I'm just kind of going in a little bit there. Let's tap that off a little bit, and then we can just, with a big sweeping motion, set the entire face so that nothing feels sticky. I tend to often skip powder, I admit that. Okay, so basically we have now a nice flush of it all over the face. And as we've learned, this seems to be, if you are a Laura Mercier translucent powder fan, this seems to be just the new. It doesn't say talc free. This just seems to be what you'll get when you buy a refill. So it is not kind of just a one-off little thing, and when it's gone, it's gone. This seems to be it from now on. So we really need to give it a good test. So here it is, just with no other makeup on, just the complexion portions of it. Let me take a look myself as well before we go away and give it a nice long test. Very pretty. Seems to be doing its job, and as promised, very translucent. So we're going to kind of see how that works under the eye. I'm going to finish my face now and film the intro, but then I'll come back after quite a few hours, hopefully 5 or 6, and we'll take a look at what's happening here on my face. Stay right there. Okay, it has been 4 hours, and we're going to talk about what we see here. I have a few things to report. Let's first try on the lip looks. I did put them on and had them in for the intro, but it has, you know, worn off through aggressive lunch eating and things like that. You know. Okay, so let's try these on for you guys to see. Here is the shade Ella, which is kind of, I think, the lighter of the two shades. Now, this can be used as a pencil or filled in. We're going to kind of try it as both. Here, it would be as a pencil because it does have a little point. Pretty good. And then it fills in really nicely. These are really nice and soothing. Did it not last the 4 hours? No, it didn't, but it lasts, you know, it's supposed to last about, I think they said 16. It doesn't. I don't know. I always wipe in my, I'm an allergy girl. It didn't last on me, but I wasn't doing anything to help it last. And of course, you know, you can use, I think I said earlier, the setting powder for that purpose too, and would be great with this. Just a really, really pretty color. Let's try on the second shade that I think you saw already in the intro. Stay right there. Okay, and this is the Ophelie shade, which is a much brighter pink and probably not perfect with the look I'm wearing. Let me just show you it lining. As a liner, it's a really pretty pinky purple. And filling it in there. Again, not really great with the look I'm wearing, but I think it does work. These are really nice because they travel easily. They're extraordinarily comfortable. They're kind of, even with this darker shade, kind of mistake proof when you apply them. They could be used to line or just on the entire lip. And I just think they're really, really nice. They twist up, as you probably know. And I just think they're a really nice little thing to have around. They're not super exciting, but they're super reliable. And the thing about makeup sometimes is we could get rid of the excitement if we have a reliable everyday product. Like this this shade right here, the Ella shade, that'll be just really nice for me to just kind of have on hand. It's kind of a neutral lipstick and works with everything. This Ophelie shade is a little bit stronger, of course. Let's talk about the powder because that's the main thing that you guys will be interested in. In terms of a translucent powder, I think it is definitely on par with the other non-sparkly Laura Mercier powders. I think it's very finely milled and nice. I don't see it laying on top of my skin. With certain powders, and often it's if you use too much or use the wrong brush. But even when I feel I'm using the right amount with the right brush, certain powders will almost pixelate on me. They kind of lay on top of the skin. This does not. I feel it definitely finishes my face and looks really nice. Is it stopping under the eyes, the powder, from sinking into lines? No, in fact, if I had to tell you, if I had to choose one or the other, I would say it made it a little bit worse. You know, it's grasping at straws because I want to be able to be honest with you. It hasn't helped. If anything, and that's in minute, I feel it sunk in a little bit more with the powder. It's not about, I think it's definitely on a par with the original Talc version. So if this is your Holy Grail, I think you'll be really happy with this one. It's not, in general, my Holy Grail to begin with, although we know that Laura Mercier makes a great powder. And again, this is no exception. It's just, it's very nice. You can't even see it on the skin. It made sure to dry down everything. If you have a kind of a slightly tacky feel to a cream bronzer or a cream a cream cheek product, or even a foundation, this would be lovely. I don't know if it's my go-to for under the eyes, but you can tell me what your thoughts are. I don't know that the Laura Mercier powders have ever been my go-to for under the eye, but if you just want to kind of get rid of that slightly tacky feel, if that just kind of makes you frustrated, this is a lovely choice for it, just like the original was. So I have nothing bad to say about it there, except that I don't know if it would necessarily be my go-to for under the eyes. I like things like the Pat McGrath powder and such a little better for that. Ask me about that below if you don't know the one I am talking about. And these lip products are just little hero products that are beautiful to be thrown in a bag or used at any time. I don't really think they last the amount of time that the product claims, but they are certainly soothing, comforting, feel almost like applying a lip balm. So nothing negative to say in that regard, but I love to hear what you guys have to say. I don't want anyone attacking or screaming. We don't have like pro talc, pro mica sides or anything like that here, but that'd be crazy. But you know, definitely weigh in. We had a really nice discussion on it going on the last video where we discussed talc and mica and all of that such. So you know, go ahead and give it a comment. Tell us what you think. We're all respectful here. It's a dialogue, so everyone has a right to what they're thinking. Even if you think it's all hooey, you can tell us that too. I'm just interested in hearing all of it. Did you see that HBO show? Did it affect how you purchase makeup? Did it affect how you feel about these kind of products? I mean, you know, it's all really, really interesting, and it's a current topic, and we really should be discussing these things as long as we do so respectfully, you know. So let me know what you guys think. Please leave it in comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. Hey, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. We are at about 10,000 subscribers, and I've got a really fun celebrational video and giveaway coming to go along with that. I haven't quite planned it yet, but we're getting there. Also, come on over and give me a follow on TikTok and on Instagram too, and I want to see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.